So what we're going to look at in this video is how is it I can take a prompt and with one shot create a game of Tetris, yet if I just want to fix simple issues on a larger project, I really struggle where we're maybe multi-prompting and everything's going offline. So what we'll look at is Cline has a new feature called Memory Bank. We'll install that quickly, go through it, and then we'll take a look at some real world issues and see if we can fix them with this new feature. So the Cline Memory Bank is an instruction set to help clients set up documentation for the project. Now, this documentation is a kind of project overview. Then, there's more technical documentation which should reflect your architecture, and this is going to help Cline when it's generating code because hopefully it's going to follow that architecture and give you the actual code you want. And this is important because I've seen Cline, when I've been working on projects, go away and completely try to do things that are completely incorrect. So, for example, I've been on a Rust project and it's trying to generate React components talking to a Python backend. So, this documentation is important. I've tried to kind of build it myself in the past, but the memory bank seems to be a better way to do it and gets better results. And it's pretty simple to install. It's some instructions that get inserted into Cline. If I go in the custom instructions section, okay, then what we can do is we can just say to client, okay, set up the memory bank, and off it goes. So after a while, we've got a whole bunch of documentation that's been generated, and you're going to need to look through this. So for example, you've got your Cline rules that's been generated. Does that actually match what your project does? There's this progress, active context, tech context. Is this exactly matching what your project is about? Because it kind of gives you an indicator of how Cline already sees your project. So what I realized at this point is I've already got a document called contributing.md where I kind of go through the architecture of the site. So what I'll do now is I'll feed that document into Cline and I'll say, okay, use this to update your memory bank and get its documents to be a bit closer to what I actually want to see it produce. I'm happy with the documentation now. Actually, what I did in the end is I used my contributing file and also I cut and pasted the website text into Cline, and now my documents really reflect, I think, what the project. It's not perfect, but we can move forward. So what we'll do now, we'll take a real issue from GitHub. So one we're looking at is to add internationalization. Okay. So into Cline, start a new task. So all of the context now has gone from Cline. All of it, all it's got is the documents that it's created and the prompt that I give it here. So, okay, I just say add I18N to the project. Pretty small prompt. I'm going to plan that first. Okay. So it's given me its plan of what it's going to do. That's interesting. It's going to use a crate called Rust I18N. I actually ran this yesterday and it used a completely different crate. So, okay. Phase 2 translation. Okay, it's going to create some translations in a folder. Okay, a new module. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to click on the act. Okay, run the command. Okay, so we're in the middle of the work that it's doing at the moment, and it looks like it's got a little bit stuck, or at least I probably didn't realize the scope of it actually, because it's internationalization. It's going to hit every page in the project. And you can see here, like the contact window is starting to fill up. So I'm actually wondering if it's going to be able to complete the whole task before the context kind of blows up. And I suppose at this point, I'd like to sort of stop it and then like use this sort of continuation feature to carry on, but I'm not actually sure how to do that at the moment. But architecturally, it's looking pretty good because yesterday I ran pretty much the same prompt with a different crate, and it started to update some of the database. And this part of it, it didn't quite do in the way that I normally do it. But today's looking a little bit different, and that's kind of one of the things actually is the same prompt, you can get completely different results day to day. So yeah, the way I'm feeling about this at the moment, it's like you need all of the skills you have already as a software engineer or as an architect. You need to know how everything fits together in the whole project, because when you're running these code generators and you're looking at what it's doing, you kind of need to know whether it's doing the right thing or not. Yeah. Okay, in the end, I had to stop it because it was going through the same component over and over, trying to fix just one component. And I could see the context window filling up, and the API costs was just rising and rising. I got the feeling that it wasn't going to get through the whole task, actually. So, yeah, not great. I kind of hoped to make a video where I go, Cline Memory Bank fixes my issues of using AI code generators over a large code base, but it didn't actually fix it for me. So I think there's more learning on my side, really. Probably I could have better defined my prompt. Maybe there's a way to just say, do one piece at a time rather than trying to do the whole thing. And yeah, so that's where we're up to. So I will continue looking at these tools. If you are interested in that sort of thing, then subscribe and I'm sure I'll get some feedback for this video anyway, so maybe I can already make some changes that gets to the point where we can use AI coding on large code bases. Thank you very much.